All right, you're only gonna like this video if four things are true. One, you like the movie Clueless. Two, you're kind of intrigued by data. Three, you're interested in birth charts. And four, you don't mind the fact that I am dressed like Matthew McConaughey from The Beach Bum. Now that we got my outfit out of the way, let's talk about the other three things. This video is about a newsletter I wrote the other day that explores the birth chart of Cher Horowitz from the point of view of human design. If you don't know what human design is, it's basically like another astrology. Human design experts will be mad at me for saying that, but just for the simplification for this video, it is another birth chart based system similar to astrology and so much more, which you can learn about by signing up for Starry You. But all you have to know for this video, just like with astrology, in order to get your birth chart for human design, you need your birth day, month, year, location, and time. Seeing as Cher is a character and not a real person, there wasn't much to go on, except we do know that she was born in April because of this scene in the movie. Obviously, I'm going to read the script because I'm not about to put a clip from a movie in my video. And please don't expect me to act this out as the characters did. I mean, Brittany Murphy and Alicia Silverstone, I'm not those people, sorry. Anyway, Ty says, I met a really cool guy. Cher, describe Ty. All right, he's got long hair, he's really funny, and straight off, right? He offers me some smoke. There he is. Are you talking about drugs? Yeah. Ty, how old are you? I'll be 16 in May. My birthday is in April, and as someone older, can I please give you some advice? It is one thing to spark up a doobie and get laced at parties, but it's quite another to be fried all day. There is this Clueless Paramount fandom that claims that Cher's birthday is April 22nd. I don't know where they got this information, but we're going to go with that. And this site also says that Cher was born in 1979, which makes sense since Clueless came out in 1995 and Cher is around 15 or 16 years old in the movie. Nobody tasked me with this project. I decided to do it on my own because I was just interested in figuring out what Cher's type was in human design and because I wanted to show an example of how to sign up for Starry You using someone interesting's birth information, not my own. So I went with Cher Horowitz. With any birth chart based system, there is an option to do what is called rectifying the chart, which is basically checking different variables of someone's birthday in order to see what elements in their chart changes. And then you can check with the person and see which of those elements actually resonate with them. Since I didn't have Cher's birth time, I decided to just pick one out of thin air, which was 10:26 a.m. And that turned out to be a really good one because a lot of the information in her chart really related to Cher's character. I document this entire process in my newsletter post, which I will link in the description box below so you can read the whole thing if you want and find out all of the nitty gritty. In this video, I'm just going to show you the basic data that I came up with. Most of Cher's chart didn't change throughout the entire day of April 22nd, 1979, knowing that her birth location was Beverly Hills. However, whenever I'm doing a birth chart rectification, I pretty much look at 5 different elements of someone's human design chart to see what fluctuates. I look at their type, profile, strategy, authority, and incarnation cross. Like I said, the first go around with the 10:26 a.m. birth time seemed really accurate to me, so let's see what that showed. Throughout this newsletter post, as you will see, I use different GIFs. I know they're pronounced GIFs, but I just don't want to say that. So I use different GIFs that are clips from Clueless to illustrate exactly the part of her chart that I was talking about. So here we're talking about Cher as a 1-3 profile, which is basically someone who takes from their own experience and helps to guide others with this wisdom. This GIF is a perfect example where Ty wants to wear her shirt long and Cher knows that the belly shirt is much more in style in 1995 in Beverly Hills. I think Cher is a perfect projector to a T because she uses this firsthand knowledge of being a 1-3 profile to guide others, specifically in multiple makeovers. It's also interesting because projectors' strategy is to wait for the invitation. And when Cher decides to make over Ty did not invite her to do so, and Cher actually ends up getting upset over that makeover because, spoiler for anyone who's never seen this before, Ty starts to flirt with Josh, who Cher actually likes in the end. In the first iteration of Cher's chart with the 10:26 a.m. birth time, she came up as a person with a mental authority. Now, this makes so much sense to me because Cher talks to a lot of people, but she doesn't talk to them to get advice. She kind of talks to them in order to reconnect with what she already knows about herself. Also, because people with a mental authority are very affected by their environment, I just think it's so funny because Cher is literally the epitome of a high school student in 1995 in Beverly Hills, as you can see from this GIF. Now, Cher's incarnation cross was super interesting to me because it's actually the same incarnation cross that I have, the right angle cross of the unexpected, down to the iterations. Incarnation crosses can have different combinations because it's based on the gate that's activated by your conscious sun and conscious earth and unconscious sun and unconscious earth in your chart. Something you should know about Starry You is that we invite people to share their experience, so much so that we actually replace the definition of various human design elements with those that have been written by Starry You members. So what you're looking at right now is actually a screenshot of our definition of the right angle cross of the unexpected, iteration 1. The definition that you're looking at was actually written by me. However, you can find various definitions about this incarnation cross all over the internet, and one of them actually talks about caring for other people, which we know that Cher does very well. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to list the unexpected things that happened to Cher that helped her on her own personal journey and affected those around her. I think you'll agree that this incarnation cross is pretty accurate. 1, she falls in love with someone who's not her type. 2, her new friend Ty seemingly takes her brother away from her once she gets a makeover. Cher gets robbed. A boy doesn't like her for once. Her mother dies. She's actually smart and people are shook. Later in this post, I got into the different energy centers that are defined or undefined for Cher, and we can get into those now. This GIF is a perfect example of Cher having a defined head center. She seems to have an answer for anything, she actually knows things, and she really has no doubts. Here we have an example of Cher's defined Ajna center. Her process for processing information cannot be influenced by anyone. Her undefined throat center means she constantly needs attention and might lead to felt cute might delete later syndrome, as pointed out by this GIF where she's trying to attract Christian's attention. And the undefined G center. Cher is kind of obsessed with who she is and with labeling herself in a very specific way, as you can see from this GIF. The undefined heart center. Cher is trying to prove herself to Christian by doing things that might not actually be aligned for her, like baking. And with her undefined solar plexus, she's kind of avoiding the truth. This scene, she realizes she's totally bugging. Cher's undefined sacral, she does not know when enough is enough. Her undefined root center, she's taking on the stress of everybody else and it's stressing her out. Even Fabian knows it. And finally, with her undefined splenic center, she goes shopping to feel secure. Just to play devil's advocate here, let's look at the alternative chart that was generated with a different birth time. So when Cher's birth time was something other than 10:26 a.m., she came up as a 6-2 profile. This is the profile in human design that is defined into different eras of the life, pretty much only 3 eras. So because we don't have an opportunity to see Cher past high school, it is hard for us to know if this profile would resonate with her character. It's also kind of fun to think about what Cher would be doing 30 and 60 years from high school. Would she own her own mall? Would she own a salon where she can give anyone makeovers? Would she be a lawyer like her father? In this alternative birth chart, Cher has an emotional inner authority. I personally don't think that Cher follows a wave of ups and downs with her emotions, which is indicative of a person with an emotional inner authority. They also have to reach a place of calmness before they make a decision. I personally think that the mental authority is much more accurate for Cher. The only thing that tripped me up was the alternate incarnation cross of left angle cross of wishes, which is an incarnation cross related to purpose about basically figuring out that laws, specifically laws, are no longer relevant to society, and the person has to take action against these laws, and whatever consequences come of that will help them be able to change the law. And I think that Cher's father being a lawyer really points to this being possible for her, as well as the fact that her unique perspective on the world could be seen as a way of updating outdated thinking, like when she says it does not say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty. Finally, with her alternate chart, she had her solar plexus and heart centers defined. With the solar plexus defined, that goes back to the emotional inner authority, which I don't think suits Cher. And then with the heart center defined, this is mostly about someone who's pretty sure of themselves, which Cher is, but then the person also takes action with what they're sure about. And I do think Cher does. The only time this isn't really true is when she starts to doubt herself because Christian doesn't actually like her. So there you have it. 2 different options for Cher Horowitz human design chart. Which do you like better? If you know someone who doesn't know their birth time but knows their birthday, month, year, and location, you can always hire someone for the rectification process. StarU does offer this process, and we see it as more of something that's collaborative, so we're not the expert and we don't claim to be an expert in your life. We would simply run all of the data just like we did for Cher, and then come up with some questions about each of those different elements and send them to you so you can tell us what resonates most with you. I'll put more information about the rectification process with StarU in the description below. As always, if today's date is the date of your birth, happy birthday. If your birth date is in 88 days from now, happy design day. Bye.